This example shows a mashup of two APIs, GitHub Jobs and the Todoist API. The user will submit a job description and location to our server. Our server will then prompt the user for their permission to interact with their Todoist account. Todoist allows us to have subtasks by including a parent property pointing to a different task ID. We will create multiple subtasks, one for each search result, and tie them all back together to the first task that we created. Finally, we send a 302 redirect to the user, pointing them to the permalink of the parent task. This creates a list of jobs for us to look at our leisure. Let's look at the code. When the user visits the root of our site, they are presented with a form index.html. This form is largely the same as in the first three examples. There are two inputs, one for description and one for location. When the form is submitted, it sends the captured data to the endpoint createJobsList using the get method. Since we are going to send a 302 redirect to the client to perform a three-legged OAuth flow, we need to save the user input, description, and location into an array. In this example, we store each person's supplied input into an array all sessions indexed by a randomly generated key state. When we finish the three-legged OAuth flow, we will be at the endpoint receive code, where we expect the code and the state to be returned. We can use state to look up the description and location again. Our code then forwards these inputs to the next phase of execution, send access token requests. This function makes an HTTP request to the token endpoint and trades the code, client ID, and client secret in order to get an access token. It uses the same function, processStream, to convert a stream object into a string. And once it's finished, it will call a function receiveAccessToken, passing along any additional parameters. In this case, user input and res. After receiving and parsing the access token, we call the function getGitHubJobsInformation. GetGitHubJobsInformation takes the description and location and queries the GitHub Jobs API. The result is converted from stream to string, and the results are sent to the function receiveJobResults. From here, the results are parsed and then sent to a function createJobsList. The Todoist endpoint for creating a task, which is REST v1 task, wants a JSON object describing the task using the property content. In addition, inside the options, we should set the method to be post, and for the headers, we should dictate a content type application/JSON, and the authorization should be set to be a bearer token, set to be the access token that we received. Our application will first create the parent job using the function createJobList. CreateJobList creates the parent job, and once that task is created, it will send us back a response, which we will convert from stream to string and forward to a function receiveListResponse. This response describes the task that we have just created. We parse the results and then extract out the task ID, which can also be used as the URL. This value, along with the access token, the list of jobs, and the res variable, are all forwarded to the function createJobs. CreateJobs will create a new task for each search result that we have. For each job, we call a function createTask. These tasks will contain, in the content field, the job title and URL from GitHub, in the parent field, the ID of the task created from within createJobsList. Upon receiving each response, we increment a counter tasks_added_count in order to count how many responses we've received. When we receive all the responses, we can then redirect the user to the created task using a 302 redirect. Let's run this program. So I will search Java jobs in New York. If I haven't logged in already, this will prompt me to log in. Then it will prompt me for permissions governed by the scope clause. Once I accept, the tasks are created. I can look at the subtask, which will have multiple links. And if I click on each of these, they will point me to specific jobs.